Hello and welcome to this updated video guide for completing Amaurot in Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. My name's Tius, and in this video you'll learn everything you need to know to pass history. An average run through this AoE hellhole takes a bit under 20 minutes, so let's take a look. The first trash pack here consists of 3 mobs, but tanks should note that when one of these dies, a bunch more will spawn in, so pick them up. This second pack will contain a Terminus detonator. These big blue bombs ignore threat and slap a chosen target, applying fire resistance down for a few seconds. This effect stacks, and when the bomb dies, it explodes, dealing fire damage around it. You sorta should focus these ones down first, but to be fair, I didn't really notice any issues with just AoEing them all down with the rest of the mobs. Keep pushing on and you'll eventually reach some trash with a Terminus Roiler. This dark energy butt wipe tethers to a player and spams them with healing magic down. You can focus this too if you want, but again I didn't have much problem letting AoE take care of these. Lastly, it's worth noting that up until the second boss, the trash area will be bombarded constantly with random AoEs, so just make sure you avoid those while you're fighting. Before long, we'll reach the first boss, the first beast. For tanks, watch out for Venomous Breath, as this frontal cone applies a heavy poison if it connects, although healers can remove it. Melee range folk will need to walk out of the mid-range Earthquake AoE centered on the boss from time to time, but that's basic. The first larger move you'll see is Meteor Rain. Everyone but the tank will get this massive AoE indicator and should move far away from the boss. The move itself deals no damage, but each affected player will drop a proximity AoE on their position, so move away from those to reduce damage. Do note that these proximity AoEs will each leave behind a boulder, which is important later. Another move you'll see, likely at a similar time, is the Falling Sky. This targets 2 random players with a large AoE, so avoid those too. Shortly after Meteor Rain, the boss will move to one edge of the room and cast the Final Sky. For this attack, hide behind one of the boulders and break line of sight with the boss to avoid getting spanked. Then, if you're not already there, run to the complete opposite side of the room to the boss. The building on his side will collapse, which Buster Keatons the entire room except a small line on the opposite side, so don't eat that. The second time Meteor Rain is cast, shit hits the fan for AoEs to avoid. In addition to the main attack, multiple sets of circle AoEs will also appear and will hit the room multiple times as they travel from one side to the other. You'll see Falling Sky again on 2 random players, and everyone will also get a pink AoE indicator for Burning Sky. Basically, avoid all the shit, break line of sight with a boulder, run to the other side to avoid the second falling building and kill the boss. Simple, right? It's actually, to be fair, it's not that hard, so you'll be alright. With the first beast down, push on through the dungeon. Tanks and healers beware that while doubling up trash pools is fine, there will be some fairly high damage, so tanks should use cooldowns and healers get ready for tanks that don't. Soon you'll reach the second boss, the Terminus Bellwether. To be honest, this is pretty easy. Smack him around a bit and he'll teleport away to summon some adds. As the tank, pick up all the trash and DPS AoE it down. A second, slightly larger pack will spawn, finally followed by a third and quite sizable group. It's the adds you want to use your cooldowns for this time, so just group it all up and burn it all down. It's the easiest boss here, so don't worry too much. With the adds down, the Bell End returns, but instead of attacking, he just readies the Mightiest Fart. Kill him before he gets the fart off, however do note he will AoE upon death regardless and deal damage proportional to his cast bar. In reality, this just means healers don't leave anyone on critically low health for this phase. With him dead, interact with the ethereal flow that spawned to teleport to the final area. Enjoy the absolute spectacle that is this set piece and work your way forwards. You can double up pulls again if you're up for it, but just make sure to avoid what ends up being a lot of AoE attacks. The boss itself also looms in the background and barrels out line AoEs to add to the fire. All things considered, this is fairly entertaining if you're not fighting to stay alive. With 4 packs down, you can take on the final boss. The final boss is Therion. It's probably the hardest, but it's not too bad. Shadow Wreck is a commonly cast group AoE that deals moderate damage, so get your AoE heals out. Before long, the boss will cast Apocalypsis, which is Greek for Revelation. For this attack, move to one of the square-shaped areas sticking out of the side of the platform. Just take care not to walk off the edge here into space. Therion will AoE the entire middle area, so these side squares are the only safe spaces. After Apocalypsis, run away from the boss to avoid the proximity AoE Therian charge. With this attack, Therian will leap forward, permanently reducing the encounter area. In addition, one of the available square spaces will crack purple. The next time Therian casts Apocalypsis, any cracked squares will disintegrate, meaning you should avoid using those ones for the attack if you like being alive. Towards the end of the fight, when you've been pushed quite far back, the boss won't charge anymore and Apocalypsis will both disintegrate a cracked square and crack another ready for the next cast. As you can guess, this acts as a soft enrage. However, I didn't run out of squares in a single attempt, including healing NPCs in a duty support where my damage was about as low as it could get, so you should be okay. The last move to mention is Deathly Ray. This comes in two forms. The first form spawns black heads spaced out on either side of the room. One side will cast constant line AoEs to move out of, stop, and then the other side will cast theirs. These heads are offset, so the safe zones for one side will be the danger zone for the other. There doesn't seem to be a way of telling which side will attack first, so just prepare to move if you're caught out. The second form of Deathly Ray is noticed by the absence of heads. For this, the boss will cast a single ray towards a random player, so dodge that. Then, two players will get AoEs to avoid before the boss follows with a second ray attack. As long as you're fast enough and move out of the rays, they won't cause that much damage. Pop a Limi when it's ready, and GG. And that's Amaurot. If you've enjoyed the guide, then let me know. And if there are any other guides or perspectives you'd like to see, then check out my channel, or feel free to ask me to create one. Thank you for watching, and good luck.